For 5 years, I covered every bill for my parents while my sister did nothing. But when they mocked me for asking just one night of babysitting, I walked away. Days later, they showed up crying and begging at my door. Anyway, hey Reddit, I'm Alyssa, 30F, and for 5 long years, I played the role of the good daughter. I paid their electric bills, helped with rent when needed, and even gave them $9,000 from my savings to buy a new car without batting an eye. Why did I do all that? Because I was the responsible one. I got a scholarship, finished college while raising a baby, and landed a decent job in tech. I didn't come from money, but I made my own way, mostly out of guilt. My younger sister, Carly, 27F, was still living at home, not really working or studying seriously. She jumped from nursing to real estate, and now she's thinking about starting a podcast. She didn't pay rent, didn't contribute at all, and borrowed from my mom whenever she felt like it, as if it was totally normal. But since I was the one who made it, everyone expected me to keep helping out. You're doing so well, honey. Just help us until Carly gets on her feet. It's not forever, Alyssa. We did everything for you growing up. That last part always stung because, as a kid, I was basically a second mom, making lunch for Carly, doing laundry when mom was tired, and cleaning while dad napped through dinner. When I got pregnant at 22, I thought I'd finally earn some respect. I expected shock but hoped for support. Instead, mom just said, "Looks like you're stuck now. Guess you won't be traveling the world like you always dreamed." But I figured it out. I had Ellie, my bright and curious daughter, and I built a life for us. I rented a 2-bedroom apartment, got promoted twice, and never asked them for anything in return. Instead, I just kept giving. Every month, I transferred $3,800 to their joint account for rent, groceries, gas, internet, gifts for Carly, emergencies, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever they needed. That added up to nearly $46,000 a year. Over 5 years, I gave them more than $225,000. Enough for a down payment on a house, enough for retirement, enough to get ahead. But somehow, it was still never enough. A few weeks ago, my team lead invited me to a big, exclusive leadership retreat. It wasn't mandatory, but it was a significant opportunity. Since my usual babysitter was out of town and my backup was sick, I thought my parents would jump at the chance to babysit their granddaughter. "Can you watch Ellie tonight? Just for one night. She'll be asleep by 8, and I'll drop her off and pick her up first thing in the morning." The awkward silence on the line was unexpected. Then Mom said, "We're not your servants." Dad laughed in the background. Mom continued, "This is why we always said you needed to learn boundaries. Just because you help out doesn't mean we owe you anything." I blinked in disbelief. Owe me? I wasn't keeping tabs. I was just asking for help with my kid. Mom laughed and said, "Carly already has plans. We're tired. You'll figure something out. You always do." Then she hung up. I stood there, shocked, while Ellie sat next to me on the couch with her favorite stuffed bunny, softly humming. She looked up and asked, "Grandma said no?" I nodded. "Okay," she whispered, "we can stay home." I smiled and kissed her forehead. "No, baby, you're still going to have fun. Mommy's going to fix this." I quickly found an emergency sitter, went to the retreat, and nailed my presentation. When I got home, Ellie was safe and sound, peacefully sleeping. But something inside me had shifted. It wasn't anger or heartbreak, it was clarity. I finally realized I had been supporting people who didn't even care for me. They only loved what I could provide, not who I really was. So I stopped. I didn't announce it or yell. I just acted. The next morning, I logged into my banking app and canceled the $3,800 automatic transfer to their joint account. Rent, utilities, groceries, those random Amazon orders gone. I blocked their numbers from Ellie's daycare emergency list and told my accountant to freeze the recurring transfers I labeled under family support. Then I typed out a simple message. "Since I'm apparently not part of the family except when bills are due, please don't contact me for help going forward. Good luck." Instead of sending it directly, I posted it in our family group chat for everyone to see, my aunts, cousins, even my grandma, who still typed in all caps. Then I left the group. Carly texted me within minutes. "WTF, Alyssa, are you really mad over one night?" "Mom, this is so disrespectful." Your father is crushed. Crushed? Like when I asked them to watch my daughter and they laughed. I stayed silent. That weekend, Carly sent me a voice message, her tone full of faux urgency. If you don't help, Mom and Dad can't pay the utilities this month. They're going to be sitting in the dark. Do you want that? I actually laughed when I heard it. 3 adults can't come up with $3,800? Even if they couldn't match it, what about half? They had become so dependent on me that they'd forgotten how to manage on their own. I thought that would be the end of it. Let them sit in the dark for a while. Maybe it would wake them up. But 4 nights later, around 9 p.m., there was a knock on the door. I peeked through the blinds and froze. It was them, Mom, Dad, and Carly outside in the rain without umbrellas or jackets, putting on a sad performance. I opened the door a crack. Mom's makeup was smeared, and Dad wore the same old hoodie I'd given him 3 Christmases ago. Carly stood behind them, arms crossed and visibly shivering but trying to act annoyed. Is Ellie asleep? Mom asked quietly, peering in. What are you doing here? I asked coldly. Dad cleared his throat and said, The power is off. The fridge has stopped running. We can't even charge our phones. Your mom's been crying for days. I shot back. So cry in the dark. That's what you told me to do, remember? Carly stepped forward, saying, This is ridiculous. Just pay this month, and we'll sort the rest out. I blinked at her, incredulous. 1 month? I've given you 60 months of full support while you did what, exactly? Paint your nails and sleep in. Mom's voice shook. We didn't mean what we said. We were just tired. I cut her off. You laughed when I asked for a single favor. Just 1 night for my daughter. Dad looked down and Mom said, We miss her. We miss you. I almost faltered, but then Carly hissed, You're really going to let your parents live like beggars after all they've done for you? And that's when it all clicked. They didn't miss me, they missed my money. I looked them right in the eye and said, You'll figure it out, just like you told me to. Then I shut the door. From the peephole, I watched them stand there in shock. Mom was sobbing, Dad had his arm around her, and Carly kicked the porch railing, muttering curses. I didn't feel satisfied or powerful. I felt free. That night, I held Ellie a little longer, her warm forehead against mine. No knocks, no guilt, no drained bank account. Just peace. Word spread faster than I expected. By Monday morning, my cousin messaged me, asking, What's going on? Your parents called Aunt June, crying that you abandoned them. Abandoned? That made me chuckle. I hadn't abandoned them. I just stopped financing their lifestyle. To them, though, money equaled love. And now that it was gone, so was I. The guilt came in waves from my mom. I can't believe you'd let your parents suffer after everything we did for you. From Carly, You're literally watching us starve. Hope your daughter never does this to you. From Dad, Alyssa, be reasonable. You can't punish us forever. Each message twisted the truth, painting me as the villain. But none of them mentioned the 5 years I'd kept them afloat or the night they laughed in my face when I asked for help with Ellie. Then, the practical fallout began. My aunt let slip that Carly's car got repossessed because she stopped making payments. My parents' landlord served them a final notice. Even basic utilities like the internet and water were on the chopping block. 3 adults living in one house couldn't survive even a month without my help. They weren't just irresponsible, they were completely dependent. And reality was crashing down on them. The final straw came when Carly actually showed up at my job, demanding to see me and yelling loud enough for my coworkers to hear. She's letting her own parents live like beggars. Everyone thinks she's so successful, but she's heartless. Security had to escort her out. Later that night, my boss pulled me aside to ask if I was okay, commenting on the scene. I swallowed my shame, but felt a sense of relief rising. For the first time, I didn't cover for them. I didn't apologize. I just said, family drama. But I'm done with it, and I really meant it. The fallout wasn't just theirs, it was mine too. I had to confront years of patterns, guilt, and conditioning. But as I watched Ellie giggle at bedtime, safe in a home I created without their help, I realized cutting them off wasn't an act of cruelty. It was about survival. The weeks that followed were oddly quiet. No knocks at the door, no late-night calls, no desperate messages. For the first time in years, my life felt like mine. Ellie and I found our groove. School runs, bedtime stories, Saturday pancakes. Without the financial drain, I signed her up for swim lessons, upgraded her car seat, and even started a small college fund. All the money I had been pouring into their household was finally going to where it belonged, toward our life. Updates came slowly. My grandma called one afternoon, never one to bring up family issues, but this time she gently said, "They're behind on rent again. Carly sold most of her stuff, and your dad tried to apply for one of those high-interest emergency loans. Your mom, she's not doing well." I didn't ask what not doing well meant. I already knew. They weren't struggling due to a one-time crisis. They were crumbling because they had built their lives on my support. Now that I was out of the picture, everything they built was falling apart. About a month later, I received a text from an unknown number. It was short but panicked. "Alyssa, please. We're about to lose the house. Can you just help us this once? Don't let us end up on the street." I stared at that message for a full minute. I thought about those 5 years I spent supporting people who never even said thank you, how I had given up $3,800 a month, over $250,000, while they couldn't even babysit my daughter for a single night. I remembered Ellie sleeping soundly just down the hall. So I typed back, "I helped you for 5 years. You chose to mock me instead of honor me. Now you get to deal with the consequences of your choices." Then I blocked the number. That night, I snuggled up next to Ellie while she slept. There was no buzzing phone, no financial worries, no emotional baggage, just pure peace. No one tells you that sometimes healing means letting go, finding quiet after the chaos, and that it can feel like a deep breath when you realize you don't owe anyone your struggles.